I started this how a normal world starts, by mining wood, getting stone tools, and getting more wood. After that, I started moving, getting food, and mining coal. Eventually, I found a semi-flat area near the world border and just started digging straight down, and I got pretty deep. When I got up, it was night, so I had to fight mobs and patch a creeper hole. I also cooked my food that I got earlier and made a base in the hole that I would probably stop using eventually. The first thing I did for the day was put a trapdoor on top of my hole, but the rest of the day I just worked on my hole, so there isn't much to say on it, but here's a cool montage. Today, I ended the day with a decent amount of iron and a cool house. The first thing I started doing on day 3 was digging straight down so I could get more iron for tools and armor. After a minute of doing that, I got pretty bored though, so I just started making a little room at the bottom, which I actually finished pretty quickly. Finally, the day ended with me just patching a creeper hole that I found. This day, I killed trader llamas first thing. After that, I mined some snow that I could use for later. I also had to get some more wood because I was running low and wanted to build something. But by far the biggest thing I did for the day was I flattened some land, placed logs in the corner, placed the dirt floor with deep slate bricks, added planks as walls, and 2 doors to keep me safe. For this day, there isn't much to say other than I built the roof of my house. For days 6 through 11, I just went mining most of the time. For day 8, however, I went looking for zombie villagers, and when I found them, I put them in minecarts, but I didn't have powered rails, so I just had to leave them there. On day 12, I smelted iron, did a little bit of mining, and started building a minecart track. That night, I tried transporting a zombie villager, but mobs kept getting in the way. On day 13, I continued the minecart track, where I accidentally killed a zombie villager while I was moving it. Then I spent the rest of the day just trying to get more powered rails. That night, I captured another zombie villager. On day 14, I tried moving zombie villagers to my base, but I accidentally killed the baby one. I also got an enchanted iron shovel from a zombie, and spent the rest of the night looking for more zombie villagers. On day 15, I tamed a dog as soon as the day switched. I also gave him a blue collar, finished the minecart track, and spent the whole night looking for another zombie villager. At the end, I died to a skeleton. On day 16, my zombie villager despawned from the previous day. I also had to cover my items, which were floating for some reason, so I just relogged. I also finished my full set of iron armor and started building a mob farm. On day 17, I was killed by a witch. After that, I decided to kill a wandering trader. I spent most of the night searching for zombie villagers, and at the end, I got killed by a creeper. On day 18, I transported a zombie villager to my base, then built the roof over part of the track because he almost burned to death, but then I kept failing on getting another one. Day 19, I spent the entire day transporting a zombie villager. On day 20, I continued transporting the zombie villager during the day, and I spent the night looking for a witch, but I couldn't find one. On day 21, I invested in a diamond sword and worked a bit on my mob farm. On day 22, I killed the mobs from yesterday, spared this wandering trader, then continued to work on my mob farm, where I did this thing where I placed gravel at the top so it'd fall down, and I wouldn't have to pay as much attention to the screen. On day 23, I came back to fight all the mobs in my mob farm, where a witch spawned, but it killed me, which made it despawn. And when I came back to my items, they were floating again. Why does this happen every time? Anyways, I relogged and continued building the mob farm. On day 24, I was working on cleaning up some small parts of my farm, where I got killed by a skeleton, even though I had a shield that I could have used to block it, but I guess I didn't feel like doing it at the time. Anyways, I respawned, collected my items, and got killed by a creeper. I also got a zombie villager near the end of the day. On day 25, I got jump scared by a creeper first thing. Then, after that, I tried patching all the holes in my farm, but creepers kept ruining it. I also accidentally killed a zombie villager, but I just ended off the day with fixing the mob farm. On day 26, I died continuously while trying to get my items. All I was left with was my sword and some armor. I was also running out of power rails with only 2 left, but I had some extra gold to make a few more. On day 27, I spent the whole day mining a hole through the mountain for the minecart track because I got really tired of just trying to go over it, and this was one of the biggest things that I did, was to start using Fulbright so that you can actually see what I'm doing. On day 28, I started placing powered rails on my minecart track at the perfect distance. Also, look here. Where did the creeper come from? Anyways, also made a platform to let mobs spawn, and then a higher one to let them despawn. On day 29, I spent the entire daytime trying to get my farm to work as intended. Then I used it a bit until I got a zombie villager and went mining for gold to end the day off. On day 30, I went to the perfect Y level and started mining for gold. mob farm being my next big goal. Day 31, I mostly spent gathering resources, then I mined for the first few minutes, smelted my iron, gold, and my absurd amount of copper that I got. After that, I mined a little bit more and used a kind of x-ray near the border to see if I could spot anything. I ended up finding amethyst geode and some iron next to it. Then, while heading back home, I got killed by a phantom. Since I still had one zombie villager left to move, day 32 I started by pushing him to the end, but not before crafting a spyglass so I could end up never using it because everything around here is ugly. Then I collected all my copper, smelted the extra iron I got, and mined some gold so I could make golden apples to later cure the zombie villagers. With every zombie villager finally at my base, day 33 I spent most of the day cleaning up. I mined the whole minecart track since I didn't need it anymore, but while organizing my inventory I got killed by a creeper. Then I started placing my rails back for some reason. I have no idea why I did this, but I guess I forgot witches don't heal when they're in minecarts. Before I could keep working on my mob farm, I decided to go gambling for a witch. So day 34 was spent killing mobs, but before I show you that montage, here's me dying to a zombie, and then later my own stupidity. Now that I had a lot more stuff, day 35 started with me running through the mob farm one last time before I destroyed it, in last hopes to get witches before I get the new one. I wanted to use TNT to make it faster, but turns out I was too poor because I only had a few, so I just decided to stick with my pickaxe. Breaking the whole thing was taking a lot longer than I expected, so day 36 I continued to mine.
Well, that was fun.
Day 37 I finally realized that breaking it wasn't the greatest decision because I could just upgrade the existing one. But anyways, I placed back a lot of the blocks and continued to build it. So after that, I just started messing around because I didn't really know what to do. So on day 38, I spent the whole day just kind of messing around. Eventually I went to the amethyst geode because in my head I was originally going to make it out of tinted glass, but turns out you need way more amethyst than I thought, so I had to just stick with cobblestone. I kept making progress on the farm through day 40, then spent the rest of the day mining so I'd have the last stuff I needed. The day started with me putting all the iron I mined in the furnace. Then I got some stone-like materials so I could continue building the mob farm. In a pretty short amount of time, I got it mostly done, so I could use it and start killing monsters in hope of a witch. Since I would be using the mob farm at mostly its full potential, I would start today by cleaning up around the mob farm, mainly the despawning platform and moving a lot of the extra dirt. Also moving the spawn platform a little bit higher just so I could get a few more mobs on the higher levels. But finally, near the end of the day, I got a witch. But she died because she can't heal while she's in a minecart and the poison damage just killed her. But either way, I wouldn't have been ready, so after that I just crafted some golden apples. Yesterday I died to a creeper, which wasn't the best, but now I was able to retrade my stuff and patch up any blocks that the creeper blew up. I also made a few trapdoors to help mobs fall down, so I could get more mobs near the bottom, so it would be faster to just kill them. Even with that, spiders were becoming a big problem because they can't fall down the gaps and they just stay there. So I just had to go up there and fight them. This day was more of just yesterday, where I killed mobs in the mob farm until I felt like jumping off the tower, where I saw a zombie and 2 skeletons, which I killed and finally got a bow. But that wasn't the end, because after that I went back to my house, made a diamond pickaxe, which I could use for mining around the world border, and getting some more minerals because I'm kind of low on potassium right now. With having all the mining materials I needed stocked up, I decided to keep gambling for a witch. But unlike before, where I forgot to turn on Fulbright, Today, I made sure to put it on so you guys can see what I'm doing. But you know I'm not just turning on full bright without turning on my settings. Then, after a minute, I got tired of it, so I switched it off until I found a witch right after, which I had to turn it back on for. This time, I messed it up, but unlike the previous times, I died to the witch, which made it despawn, so I got in bed for the next day. You know, I just had to keep the streak going of me spending time at the mob farm trying to get witches. While doing this, I had to keep going up the water elevator because mobs wouldn't walk off, so I could try and fix that later. Also, I died to a creeper, but I think it was invisible or something because it turned this way and then the other way, and I still can't see in the footage where it was, even after watching the footage over and over. I just wanted to mention this, but for the past few days, the footage has looked really choppy, and I don't know why, so I'm really sorry about that, and I wish I could fix it, but this was filmed a long time ago. But what I did for the day is not ending the streak. I went back home to mend my bow, and then went back to gambling for a witch. I never found one. Just a lot of skeletons, zombies, and spiders. Whee! Oh well. Today I grabbed the items I dropped from the previous day and then went back to a mob farm to hopefully get a witch. But right away I died to a creeper and a zombie picked up all my stuff, including my shield. I actually didn't know they could hold that. Probably should have known because I've played this game for 6 years, but for the rest of the day I just kept the streak going. So I'm just at the top of my tower and see a zombie who has armor from like yesterday, which means I wasted all my diamonds on a new sword. At least I have a backer. After that, I got killed by a creeper, and a zombie took all my armor and tools. But I did get back and repair my wall, but really, most of the day was spent keeping the streak alive. I realized I had some extra gold, so for this day I crafted powered rails, which I would place the perfect distance apart so that I could just get the minecart going faster. But all I needed are witches, but I didn't realize this at the time, but witches can't heal while they're minecarts, which I really should have known. But anyways, I kept the streak going until I saw this wandering trader who sold nothing good, so I killed him.